A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of News First Weekend, coming to you live from our News First studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines.
Bodies of 7 elephants which drowned in a swamp discovered in Periyaru, Polonnaruwa. Was the investment of EPF funds in the stock market a loan condition of the Asian Development Bank? Anomalies in power purchase from the private power plant is Ambilipitia. Ministry Secretary questioned by COPE. Maldivian President accords special treatment to Chinese ambassador at the opening of a bridge constructed with Chinese loans. Regional diplomats displeased.
Now the stories in detail. Bodies of 7 elephants which drowned in a swamp in the Periyaru River in Polonnaruwa were discovered today.
According to area residents, the elephant that belongs to the Somavatiya Forest Reserve has come in search of water. An area resident had spotted a corpse of a pachyderm afloat the Periyaru River 4 days ago, and even though a rescue mission was initiated to save the elephant, the efforts proved to be futile as it had died by the time it was rescued. Meanwhile, a resident who was engaging in fishing on the river had come across 4 corpses of elephants afloat the Periyaru River yesterday. Upon the discovery, the officials of the Wildlife Department had been notified, but all 4 pachyderms had died upon the arrival of the wildlife officers. Another 2 elephant corpses were discovered this morning when officers of the Wildlife Department had arrived to the scene to recover the bodies of elephants that were discovered the previous day. According to officers of the Wildlife Department, the 7 pachyderms have died 5 days prior to their discovery. Locals in the area believe that excess moss in the Periyaru River may have resulted in the unfortunate death of the 7 elephants.
Moss has grown on the path that the elephants travel along. We ask that this moss be removed and the path be cleared for these elephants.
Moss and water hyacinth have accumulated so much that even if 2 elephants walk on it, it wouldn't sink. So the elephants don't know what they are walking. When they walk on this moss and water hyacinth, they sink and they drown. If the officers and relevant authorities take measures to remove this moss and water hyacinth, the animals can be saved. Meanwhile, operations to recover the bodies of the elephants were halted today due to the lack of equipment. According to wildlife officers, the corpse of the elephants will be removed tomorrow with the assistance of the army. The Somavati Reserve is an area where wild elephants live. If we are to stop these elephants from travelling across swamps, we will have to put up electric fences and block them. There is no other solution other than that. So if we are doing that, we might be faced with another practical problem. Is this an elephant pass, and do elephants cross here for sure? We will have to examine all of that. I don't know of what happened before, but this was reported yesterday. We will focus our attention on the matter and take the necessary steps.
Leader of the JVP, MP Kumar revealed details of a plan to invest
of an agreement reached with the Asian Development Bank.
2016 වසරේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා ආණ්ඩුව සහ
The Sri Lankan government signed an agreement with the Asian Development Bank in 2016. As per the Article 14 of that agreement, the ADB and another US company provides a white paper to Sri Lanka. The objective of that white paper is to facilitate the funds of the EPF to be invested in the CSE and to make policies for it. The ADB has agreed to provide a $300 million loan. If we are to take that loan, the EPF has to fulfill the criteria. The ADB has laid out the plan. The plan of the government is to privatize institutions that are under the government by making them invest at the Colombo Stock Exchange by 2025. They say very clearly at the end that 30 to 40% of the EPF has to be invested at the stock exchange. The report says that the beneficiaries of the remaining 60% of the EPF has to invest in the stock exchange. What are they saying? What is this billion rupees that they speak of? They have launched this plan to invest the complete EPF of 2,000 billion at the stock exchange. The Employees Provident Fund contains money that belongs to the workers of this country who have worked tirelessly. This is also the only fund in the country for the employees after their retirement. Over 8.5 billion rupees had been looted from the fund through the bond scam. In addition, money from this fund had been put into various companies, causing losses to the EPF. The friends used this fund to play around at the stock exchange. What has been revealed through the bond report? The bond report says that PTL amassed undue profits worth 11 billion. A 8.5 billion rupee loss was incurred to the EPF. The EPF loss was converted into profits at PTL. The government has used the EPF for their corrupt deals and to make the friends happy. The EPF is being destroyed as a result of ad hoc decisions of various people. Should this be allowed?
Well, allegations were levelled at Jahan Amaratunga, a director at People's Bank, for obtaining a loan adding up to billions for a company at which he serves as an executive deputy chairman. The Minister of Public Enterprise Development today inquired into these allegations from the central bank.
Jahan Amaratunga was criticised for obtaining a loan of 10 billion rupees from the very bank at which he serves as a director. The loan was obtained for the company MTD Walkers, where Jahan Amaratunga serves as an executive deputy chairman. In light of these allegations, People's Bank said that his tenure as director will come to an end on the 31st of August. The tenure of 7 directors of the bank, including Jahan Amaratunga, was due to expire on the 31st of August. The Minister of Public Enterprise Development said that it has questioned the central bank as to whether it is suitable to extend the tenure of Jahan Amaratunga. Minister of Public Enterprise Development Lakshman Kiriyala confirmed this upon an inquiry made by Newsfirst. Policy decisions of a bank are taken by the Board of Directors. The government and the minister should make appointments to the Board of Directors properly and take the necessary steps to further the business operations of the banks. Also, there is a controversial situation surrounding a member of the Director Board of the People's Bank, Jahan Amaratunga. We would like to point out that the minister should conduct an inquiry into this, and we believe that until the general public are provided with an answer, he should be removed from the Board of Directors, as it is important to safeguard the reputation of the People's Bank, which is an institution that depends on the money of the general public. If the tenure of the 7 directors, including Jahan Amaratunga, expires on the 31st of August, and if the central bank has not yet announced its decision, is the bank currently functioning without a board of directors? Wasn't the central bank aware of the end of their tenure? Isn't the central bank aware that MTD Walkers, the company at which Jahan Amaratunga is an executive deputy chairman, obtained a loan of 10 billion rupees, had also taken out the loans from other state banks to the tune of 50 billion rupees. These are not minor financial transactions. Shouldn't the central bank conduct an inquiry into the allegations before the ministry raises questions? Wasn't the central bank, the regulatory body of the banking sector of the country, aware of these massive transactions? It is pointless to accuse various parties after failing to perform duties of a regulator. Wouldn't further delays only jeopardize the security of the people's money?
A discussion was held between President Maithripala Sirisena, who is in a state visit to Nepal, and SAC General Secretary Amjad Hussain in Kathmandu at the General Secretariat's office this morning.
The General Secretary said that Sri Lanka is recognized as a powerful country within the SAC, and further added that they commend the support of Sri Lanka to achieve the ambitions of SAC. President Maithripala Sirisena commented on the importance of further strengthening the unison and the bond among the SAC countries. A tree was planted at the SAC General Secretariat commemorating President Sirisena's arrival to the SAC General Secretary's office. President's media unit stated that the President has met the Sri Lankan residents in Nepal and he worshipped the Ananda Kuti Vihara as well. Meanwhile, President Sirisena called on the President of Nepal, Bidya Devi Bandari, yesterday. Nepal President has expressed her views over the prevailing economic, political and cultural ties that existed between the two countries over the years. During the meeting, both leaders had discussed in detail the activities of BIMSTEC, and the President of Nepal extended her best wishes to President Sirisena on his new appointment as the chairman of the BIMSTEC. The assistance for the development activities and plans made by the Lumbini Development Foundation. After the meeting of two heads of state, 2 new MOUs were signed with the aim of providing training to public officers and development of youth between the two countries. Meanwhile, the President's media unit said that a special dinner was arranged for the President and his delegation.
The 67th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party falls today. Measures were taken to mark the day with prominence to religious activities.
In view of the anniversary, religious observances were observed at 6 this afternoon at the Kalani Rajamahavihara under the patronage of party leaders. Hindu religious observances were held at the Kadireshan Kovil in Bambalapitiya this morning. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party has allocated today for religious observances. Measures are underway to celebrate the anniversary in the near future once the President returns from Nepal. Islam religious observances were held at the Kettarama Juma Mosque in Colombo, while Christian religious observances will be held in Venapur tomorrow. It was SWRD Bandaranayake who established the Sri Lanka Freedom Party on the 2nd of September 1952. Through the joint forces of Sangha Veda Guru Govi Kamkaru, the SLFP obtained state power in 1956, and it is the SLFP that has been the ruling party for the longest period since independence.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa met with SLFP Provincial Council members in the Monaragala district today.
Former State Minister Sumedha G. Jayasena also attended the meeting to represent the group of 16 members who left the government. Speaking further, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa spoke about the SLFP's anniversary. I just realized that today is the 2nd of September. We had a lot of affection towards Mr. Bandaranayake and my father who formed this party as we celebrate the 67th anniversary today. Also, we made many sacrifices for this party. During our time, the SLFP was very strong, and that was how we handed over the party to a new leader. They chased us away and said that they don't need us. If the party says no, no one would like to remain there. We couldn't do anything, and that was why Pohot Tour came into action.
Chairman of the SLFP Youth Front, Shanta Bandara, expressed the following views after the statement made by the former president was aired on the primetime news bulletin on our sister channel, Sirasa TV.
I heard the former president saying a short while ago that the seniors of the party were chased away. I was disappointed to hear that statement. The chairmanship of the SLFP was handed over to President Maithripala Sirisena with the agreement of all the members of the 16th of January 2015. Thereafter, the support of everyone was sought to build the SLFP. A member of the SLFP cannot support another independent party or another party. Even though this is mentioned clearly in the party constitution, the chairman of the party, President Maithripala Sirisena, or the party leaders have not taken steps to remove these individuals from the party. Allegations were raised against the president that nominations were not granted to Mahinda Rajapaksa. However, the president allowed Mahinda Rajapaksa to contest from Kurunegala and provide the chance to appoint him as the prime minister if the people required. It is clear the flower bud was not created because the people were chased out or removed from the party. It was created because a group wanted to establish power and grab the position of leader through other means. When the mayor of the Ratnapura Municipal Council was being appointed, the UNP and the flower bud got together. The same happened when the power was being established at the Maithripala Pradeshiya Sabha. There are several examples of the same nature. Do not turn everything for your benefit. I would like to remind that it is a responsibility of everyone to protect the SLFP on the day its 67th anniversary is celebrated as a mark of respect to its founder, late SWRD Bandaranayake.
Foundation stones were laid for 5 model villages in Ruhunupura Suryavawa under the Samata Sevana Yali Pibidanu Dagamana project. The event was held under the patronage of Minister of Housing and Construction and Deputy Leader of the UNP, Sajit Premadasa.
The 5 villages are named as Savimutugama, Sadadiyagama, Selmaligama, Sisikumutugama and Siri Uyangama. 25 houses are to be constructed in each of the 4 villages and 23 houses are to be constructed in the remaining village. During the previous regime, prices of medicine was unbearable, especially the cancer and diabetes drugs. But today, Minister Rajat Senaratne has reduced the prices of both medicine and medical equipment by 40%. So why did the so-called great patriots and nationalists who previously ruled the country increase the prices of medicine? It was increased artificially, and it was done under the guidance of the leaders of the past. There was a medicine mafia at that time, and that mafia gave commissions to the higher authorities to maintain the prices of medicine at a higher rate.
The gum at the door-to-door team came across a group of people who are made to get onto trees on a daily basis to save their lives from wild elephant attacks.
Gum at the door-to-door initiative. A gum at the team that reached Walsapugala, a village that has to face the elephant threat on a daily basis, spent the night with the villagers. Newsfirst cameraman Laknuan Vardakula Surya put a lot of effort to climb this tree. How difficult. It is clear that the politicos of our country continue to boast about development that has never seen the light of day, while the people are reduced to climb onto trees to save their lives. The people charge that the land in the forest has been illegally cleared for the construction of hotels and cultivation. They say the wild elephant attacks have increased as a result of this. This village is battered by the prolonged drought. The people have to purchase water for consumption. However, the salinity of the water they purchase too is very high. The Gammadda team that arrived at the Bharatipuram village looked into the problems faced by the people. The people in this village are suffering with a lack of clean drinking water. Their day-to-day activities are also affected since the road in the village is in a dilapidated state. The residents of this village are not financially equipped to even take a patient to the hospital in a three-wheeler which is 11 kilometers away. The education of the children in the village is also affected due to the lack of a proper road. In addition to these problems, the villagers charge that distilling moonshine illegally in the village has become a main concern. The residents of this village earn a living through the plantation of tea. They are facing transportation issues. During the rainy season, these areas face a risk of floods and landslides. The entry road to this village is in a dilapidated state. The villagers spoke to the Gammadda team and said that the students and villagers who use this road have to face many hardships. The residents of the Telipita village are facing an issue as a result of the lack of clean drinking water. The human-elephant conflict is a main issue in this village. The residents here have to worry about wild elephant attacks even during broad daylight. They do not have water for cultivation as the vava in the village has been filled up. They do not have clean drinking water, and the roads in the area are also in a dilapidated state. Gammadda door-to-door initiative.
Up next is a look at Action TV.
Why did the Ceylon Electricity Board enter into an agreement to purchase electricity from the Ambilipitia power plant? Was it because of the lack of an alternative? If not, what were the alternatives available? How much was spent for the purchase of power from the Maithripala power plant? What are the reasons for the purchase of power at this price? The Committee on Public Enterprise conducted an investigation into the Public Utilities Commission and the Ceylon Electricity Board on the 7th of last month. COPE then informed the Secretary to the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy and the Chairman of the Ceylon Electricity Board to present reasons for this purchase to the committee. The duo were also informed to forward a copy to the Auditor General. Following investigations, the recommendations of the committee were forwarded by the Secretary of COPE to the Secretary of the relevant ministry on the 27th of last month. The agreement to purchase power from ACE Maithripala was extended twice for a period of 1 year after it expired in 2015. In April this year, the Ceylon Electricity Board extended this power purchase agreement for another 3 years. The Secretary to the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy, Dr. Suren Bhattagoda, had informed COPE that an estimate had been made for the government to purchase the power plant in 10 years. The Secretary said that the estimate prepared by the government surveyor valued the power plant at 2,370 million rupees, while the estimate by the owner of the facility valued it at 2,635 million rupees. Dr. Suren Bhattagoda had informed COPE that as there was a difference of 300 million rupees between the two estimates, a decision could not be reached on the purchase of the power plant. However, according to the investigations conducted by the COPE committee, according to the agreement signed in April, the capacity cost of a unit of power from the private power plant is 1 rupee and 29 cents. Accordingly, the cost per month is 76 million rupees, adding up to a grand total of 2,736 million rupees. The COPE committee noted that a sum exceeding the estimate of 2,635 million for the sale of the power plant presented by the owner has to be borne as the capacity cost alone. According to the annual report of the company that owns the ACE Maithripala power plant, the profit of the company for the capital cost for the construction has been covered through the payment of the capacity cost, and thereby the ownership of the power plant should be transferred to the government. In response, Secretary to the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy, Dr. Suren Bhattagoda, said that at the end of the agreement, the power plant will remain in the possession of its current owner. However, in 2016, Dr. Bhattagoda had informed COPE that the power plant will be taken under the Electricity Board. The COPE committee had expressed their displeasure on the contradicting statements provided and decided to recall those responsible to testify before the committee. While the Ceylon Electricity Board has been continuously recording losses, certain subsidiaries of the board recorded unusual profits. West Coast is one of them. Money belonging to the CEB has been invested in a number of companies, including West Coast. The board of directors of this company are high-ranking officials of the Ceylon Electricity Board. The magnitude of the power mafia in operation within the country is clearly depicted by the current situation where the Ceylon Electricity Board are suffering massive losses while the subsidiary companies of the board are recording unusual profits. The group that has to face the ruthless consequences of this power mafia is none other than the power consumers of the country. It is the responsibility of the government to free the people from the ruthless nature of this power mafia.
A seminar under the theme A Public Centre for the Victory of the People was held at the Buddhist Cultural Centre today. Intellectuals, the Mahasangha and religious leaders attended the event.
අපිට ඕනේ අපේ රට ස්වාධීන විදේශීය බලවේගයන්ට යටත් නොවන.
We want our country to be independent from foreign nations. We do not want to have an economy that is suppressed by other countries. We want the country to be a place where the dignity of human beings are protected. We want this country to be a place where the religious and traditional beliefs and practices of its citizens are protected. We want the country to be a beautiful place for the future generations. This is what we should try to achieve. I do not understand who should be responsible for achieving this. This is a question as to whether we can trust these people. The problem here is once someone comes into power, they do not want to let go of that power. They want to remain in power. Parliament is not a place for them to fight. We have to get together to develop this country. This is what should be done. If they are engaged in political quarrel, the country will be destroyed. That is certain, and no one will be able to stop it from happening. We will have to tell the people of this country that they should take the leadership in this. The governments can produce various ideas, but no one can lease out the country to other nations without the approval of the people of this country. We make trade agreements to receive the approval of the people. There should be a referendum regarding this trade agreement. When we grant power to a group, that does not mean that they own the country. They are caretakers and not the owners. The ownership of the country is with the people. The people own this country. Remember that.
Television feeds of the funeral of John McCain on Saturday captured a light-hearted moment between former President George W. Bush and former First Lady Michelle Obama that quickly went viral. We leave you tonight with these visuals. Good night.